Okay, so we will now discuss about another concept in terms of time value of money, which is computing for the present value. Now, as I mentioned earlier to you, the concept of time value is very important in accounting and also in finance. Okay. Now, why? Because as we say in accounting, the value of an asset is actually the present value of all the benefits that you can derive from the use of the asset. So, present value is very important in accounting as it helps accountants compute for the value of asset when they record the asset, and of course in terms of computing for the impairment losses of assets. Okay. Now, in time value, I am always using or drawing the time frame or the timeline, okay, as it helps me in terms of analysis and making the problem clearer so I can understand it better. Okay, so earlier we discussed about the future value, meaning how much is the value in the future. So in this time frame, we have this present value, which is today, and this is the future value. Okay, so earlier we go from the present value to the future value using the simple interest and of course the compounded interest. Now, for the present value, we are going to go back. So from the future value, we are going to go back to the present value or the value of your money today. So for example, now you're in your second year, for instance, so you have 3 more years to go. Assuming that you want to know how much should you invest today, okay? If you want to get a 25,000 value in terms of investment, okay, by say for example December 31, 2021. So if this is like January 1, 2019, so you have the whole 2019, that's 1 year, 2020, that's another year, and then 2021. So we're talking of 3 years. Okay, so if you will start investing, say for example, on January 1, 2019, you should have 25,000 by December 31, 2021. Okay, so going back from the future back to the present value, that is what we call discounting. Okay, and in discounting, we can use either number 1, the present value of 1. Okay, and there's a present value table for this. Now, for the present value of 1, when do we use this? We use this if there's only one-time cash in or cash out. Okay, or say this is staggered but different amount. So it could be a stream of cash, but the amounts involved are different, meaning they're not the same. For example, year 1 you will invest 10,000, year 2 you'll invest 5,000, and so on and so forth. Okay, so different amounts, then you make use of the present value of 1. Okay, now there's another one, which is the present value of annuity. Present value of annuity, you make use of this if there's a series of equal payments or the same amount, equal amounts. So here, say for example, we're talking of 3 years. If you will invest, say for example, 10,000 in year 1, 10,000 in year 2. So in this case, we have 2 similar or same amount. In order to facilitate the computation of the present value, you can make use of the present value of annuity. Okay, so that's the first requirement. It should be of equal or same amount. The second is the time frame or the timeline. So each of this is what? 1 year. Okay, so instead of computing the present value of 1 for each cash flow, you can use the present value of annuity in order to facilitate and to make the computation faster. Okay, so let's have an example. For instance, okay, let's go back to this one. You want 25,000 in your savings account by December 31, 2021. Okay, and then the bank, say for example, gives about 5% interest. So we're talking of 3 years from January 1, 2019 up to December 31, 2021. Okay, so 19, 20, 21. So 3 years. Okay, so how much should you invest today for you to get 25,000 3 years from now? Okay, now in computing for these two, okay, we can use the present value factor or present value table for this one and the annuity, but we can also make use of your calculators. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, using an ordinary calculator, we can compute for the present value of 1 by doing this. So this is 1 plus the rate of interest, okay, and then division sign, division sign twice, and then the equality sign 3 times, because this is for 3 years. No? So this one, the 1 is constant, and this is the rate of interest. Now these two division signs are also constant, and then this one, the equality sign, is dependent on the number of periods. So if you're talking of 3 years annually, so that's going to be, you press equality sign 3 times. Okay. However, if you're using, say for example, for iPhones, okay, if you press the equality sign once, you will see 1.0, and this is not the present value. It should be decimal. Okay, should be decimal. So on your second press of equality sign, you will get the decimal, and that's your year 1 for present value. Okay, so therefore, if say for example this is 3 years, if you're using an iPhone, then you have to press the equality sign 4 times. Okay, you understand? Okay. So that's it for the present value. So here we will get, say for example, so we'll use this one. So that's 1 plus the rate of interest, which is 0.05. Okay, then division sign twice, and then equality sign 3. Okay, so that's going to be 1.05 divide, and then the equality sign for 3. And what will be the answer for this? Okay, I'll be back because I'm using my phone. Okay, so I'll be back and then we'll continue.